I entered Mama Rosaline's room for the first time without permission. The room smelled of perfume, powder, and old fear. Everything was arranged carefully. Her Bible was on the side table. Her church hats were stacked in boxes. Her jewelry drawer was locked. Her wardrobe was full of lace wrappers, handbags, and shoes. I searched carefully. Under the mattress, inside old handbags, behind framed pictures. Nothing. Then I noticed a small wooden trunk under the dressing mirror. It had a tiny lock, but the lock was not fully closed. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Inside were old wedding souvenirs, church badges, letters, faded photographs, and notebooks. I moved the items slowly. Then I saw it, a brown diary, old, worn, tied with a black ribbon. My hands became cold. I sat on the floor and untied it. The first pages were filled with prayers. Lord, forgive me. Lord, cleanse my home. Lord, let my children not suffer for my weakness. I turned the pages faster. Then I saw my mother's name, Grace. My whole body froze. The entry was dated many years ago. My eyes moved over the handwriting. Grace cooked all her soup again today. Victor ate like a man who had forgotten his wife was sitting at the table. I hate the way he looks at her. I hate the way she lowers her eyes when he speaks. Something is growing in this house. I can feel it. My hands shook.
I turned the page. Another entry. Anita says I should send the girl away before shame enters my home. But Victor will not allow it. He says Grace is only a servant, but his eyes betray him. I covered my mouth. I turned another page. The girl is pregnant. The words blurred. I blinked hard and forced myself to continue. Victor denied it. He shouted. He called her a liar. But I saw the fear in his face. Grace cried and said she did not seduce him. She said he promised to take care of her. I wanted to slap her. I wanted to slap him. Instead, I stood there like a fool, while my marriage laughed at me. My breath became heavy. Another page. Anita brought the herbs. She said if the child leaves the womb, everything will end. I told myself I was protecting my home. I told myself God would understand a desperate wife. But when Grace screamed, I knew God had turned his face away from me. Tears dropped on the page. I turned another page with shaking fingers. The herbs failed. The pregnancy survived. Anita says the child is stubborn. Victor says we must remove Grace before people start counting months. We agreed to accuse her of stealing the gold chain on money. I watched them search her box. I watched Anita hide the chain inside. I watched Grace fall on her knees and swear by God that she was innocent. My chest felt like it would tear open.
I read the next line. I still hear her voice. Madame, please, I am carrying your husband's child. I almost dropped the diary. The room moved around me. My mother was carrying Chief Victor's child. That child was me. I continued reading because pain had already opened the door. There was no closing it again. The next entry was shorter. She has been chased away. Victor says the matter is finished. Anita says I should sleep well. But I cannot sleep. I see Grace's eyes. I hear her coughing. I see the blood on her wrapper. If that child lives, God will one day ask me what I did. My tears fell freely. Then I turned the page. One line was written alone.
If Grace gives birth to a girl, and that girl ever returns to this house, I will know my punishment has found me. I stopped. My name appeared 2 pages later. Not as Winifred Okafor, not as Adam's wife, but as a warning. Today, Adams brought home a woman named Winifred. Her face is Grace's face. Her soup is Grace's soup. Her mother's name was Grace. Lord, is this the child? Is this the child we failed to kill? The diary slipped from my hand.
I sat there on Mama Rosaline's floor, shaking. Now I understood why she cried. She was not crying because of soup. She was crying because every pot I cooked reminded her that the child she tried to remove from my mother's womb had returned to eat at her table. But even as I cried, one question rose inside me like thunder. If Chief Victor was my father, and Chief Victor was Adam's father, then what was Adam's to me? I did not finish the thought. My body refused to accept it. At that exact moment, I heard footsteps in the hallway. Then Mama Rosaline's voice.
Who opened my door?
Who opened my door? My heart stopped. The diary was still open in front of me. And Mama Rosaline was coming in. Mama Rosaline's footsteps stopped at the door. For 1 second, neither of us moved. I was sitting on her bedroom floor with her old diary open in front of me, my tears still wet on the pages. She stood out the doorway, holding her church handbag in one hand and her Bible in the other. The moment her eyes fell on the diary, the Bible slipped from her hand. It hit the floor with a dull sound.
Winifred, she whispered. I did not answer. I could not even stand. My whole body was shaking, but my eyes stayed on her face. For months, I had watched this woman cry over soup. I had felt sorry for her. I had blamed myself. I had wondered what kind of pain she was carrying. Now I knew. Her tears were not innocent. Her tears were not holy. Her tears were not the tears of a woman who was only remembering the past. They were the tears of someone whose wickedness had grown old enough to recognize its victim. Mama Rosaline stepped into the room slowly.
Hey, they thought they killed tomorrow, but God still knew my name.
Please, she said, stretching one trembling hand toward me. Let me explain. I laughed softly. It was not the kind of laughter that comes from joy. It was the kind that comes when pain becomes too heavy for crying.
Explain what, Mama?
Her lips shook. I lifted the diary. Explain that my mother walked
Explain that my mother walked in this house.
She closed her eyes. Winifred, explain that my mother cooked for you people. She held her chest. Please lower your voice. That sentence wounded me more than I expected. Even now, after everything, she was still thinking about who might hear. My mother begged you, didn't she? Mama Rosaline began to cry. Please. She begged you while she was pregnant. Winifred, I was young. I was angry. I was afraid. You were afraid? My voice rose. My mother was poor, alone, pregnant, bleeding, and accused of stealing what she did not take. But you were afraid? Mama Rosaline covered her mouth. I made a mistake. A mistake? I opened the diary with shaking fingers and read aloud.
A mistake? Anita brought the herbs. She said if the child leaves the womb, everything will end.
Everything will end. Mama Rosaline fell to her knees. Stop. But I continued. I told myself I was protecting my home. I told myself God would understand a desperate wife. But when Grace screamed, I knew God had turned his face away from me. My voice broke. I looked at her. You held my mother down. She shook her head quickly. No, Anita held her. I only stood there. You stood there and watched.
She was destroying my home.
I stared at her. For the first time, her guilt gave way to the anger she had buried underneath. She was a servant in my house, Mama Rosaline cried. She had no right to carry my husband's child. I stepped back as if she had spat on me. No right? Mama Rosaline's face changed immediately, like she regretted the words the moment they escaped. But truth is like palm oil. Once it pours, everybody sees the stain. I looked at her and whispered, So, you still blame her? No, I don't. I was hurt. I was ashamed. Your father... She stopped. The room became still. My father. My father. She had said it. I moved closer slowly. Say it again. Mama Rosaline began to shake her head. No. Say it again, Mama. She covered her face. Please, don't ask me. I grabbed the diary and held it in front of her. This diary has already spoken, but I want to hear your mouth say it. She cried harder. I bent close to her. Who is my father? She sobbed. Please, who is my father? She whispered so low I almost missed it. Victor. The name did not surprise me. I had already seen it. I had already felt it. Still, hearing it from her mouth made the floor disappear under my feet. Chief Victor Okafor, my husband's father, the respected man, the church elder, the man who sat at the dining table and told me my problem was my womb, the man who watched me mourn 3 miscarriages and said nothing.
The man who knew, or at least suspected. My hands became cold. I looked at Mama Rosaline. Does Adams know? She shook her head quickly. No, he doesn't. Does Chief Victor know I am Grace's daughter? She looked away. Answer me. He suspected. I felt my stomach turn. He suspected and allowed me to marry his son? Mama Rosaline whispered. At first, he said it was impossible. At first? He said Grace must have had another man after she left. He said you could not be his child. He said the timing did not mean anything. But you knew. Her crying stopped for a moment. She looked at me with eyes that had no defense left. You knew when I cooked the soup. My heart cracked. When? The first time. I could barely breathe. The first time I cooked in this house? She nodded. The smell. The way you tore the oha leaves with your hands. The uziza. The dried fish. The same way Grace used to cook. Then, when Adams told me your mother's name, she swallowed. I knew punishment had entered my house. I looked at her in disbelief. So from the first time you knew I could be Chief Victor's daughter? She said nothing. And you allowed me to remain Adam's wife? Winifred, I was confused.
No, you were not confused. You were afraid.
She looked down. You were afraid that if you spoke, your family name would fall. She cried silently. You were afraid that church people would know what happened to Grace. Still no answer. You were afraid that Auntie Anita would be exposed. Her shoulders shook. You were afraid that your respected husband would become a shameful man. I stepped away from her. But you were not afraid when I was losing children. Mama Rosaline lifted her head quickly. God knows I prayed for you. I almost screamed. Prayed for me? Yes, every day. You watched me carry pregnancies that could not stay, and instead of telling the truth, you prayed? She stretched her hands toward me. I did not know what to do. You knew what to do. You just did not want to pay the price. The room became quiet. Then I heard a movement behind me. I turned. Adams was standing at the door. His face was pale. His eyes moved from me to his mother on the floor, then to the diary in my hand. For a moment, I prayed he had not heard. Then he spoke.
Who is Victor to Winifred?
Mama Rosaline let out
Adams.
a sound like someone had stabbed her.
They covered shame with silence.
He stepped into the room slowly. Answer me.
Answer.
Me.
I had never heard my husband's voice like that before. It was not loud. It was worse. It was empty. Mama Rosaline tried to stand, but fell back on her knees.
My
son, please.
Please.
Adams looked at me.
Winnie.
Winnie. I could not speak. His eyes dropped to the diary. He took it from my hand, gently, and read the open page. I watched his face change as the words entered him. At first, confusion, then fear, then shock, then something deeper than pain. He turned the pages with shaking hands. He read the entry about Grace being pregnant. He read the entry about the herbs. He read the entry about the false accusation. Then he stopped on the page where Mama Rosaline had written, "Today, Adams brought home a woman named Winifred. Her face is Grace's face. Her soup is Grace's soup. Her mother's name was Grace. Lord, is this the child? Is this the child we failed to kill?" Adams dropped the diary. It landed between us like a curse. Nobody spoke. Then he looked at his mother.
Is she my father's daughter?
Father's daughter?
Adams, please listen.
Mama Rosaline cried.
Is she my father's daughter?
The whole house seemed to shake. Auntie Anita appeared at the doorway, tying her wrapper in confusion.
What is going on here?
Adams turned to her.
You!
Auntie Anita froze when she saw the diary on the floor. Her face told us everything. Adams pointed at it. "You brought herbs?" Auntie Anita's mouth opened, but no words came out. "You held Grace down?" She recovered quickly.
Don't be stupid, Adams. You don't understand what happened.
I don't understand.
That girl nearly destroyed your mother's marriage. My mother was a girl. Your mother knew what she was doing.
Don't talk about her mother like that.
Auntie Anita faced him.
Open your eyes. Grace was not innocent.
Mama Rosaline shouted.
Anita,
with tears.
stop lying!
The room went silent. Auntie Anita's face hardened.
So now you want to confess and destroy everybody? Mama Rosaline looked at me, then at Adams. Then she said, Grace did not steal anything. My legs weakened. Even though I knew, hearing it aloud opened the wound again.
She did not steal the gold chain. She did not steal the money. Anita hid the chain in her box.
Shouted.
Rosaline!
Mama Rosaline turned to her.
You told me it was the only way. You told me once people believed she was a thief, nobody would believe her pregnancy story.
Adams held his head with both hands.
My God. And Chief Victor?
Your daughter stands inside the storm.
Mama Rosaline looked toward the hallway.
Victor agreed.
The truth you carried has been born.
As if the house had been waiting for his name, Chief Victor's voice came from behind us.
Agreed to what?
We all turned. He stood at the doorway in his white senator wear, holding his car key. His eyes moved around the room. Mama Rosaline's red face, Auntie Anita's anger, Adams's broken expression, me standing with tears, and the diary on the floor. For once, Chief Victor did not look powerful. He looked exposed. His face changed.
Who touched that diary?
Adams bent down, picked it up, and held it out.
You should be asking what is inside it.
Chief Victor's jaw tightened.
Give it to me.
Adam stepped back.
No.
Chief Victor's eyes darkened.
I said, give it to me.
Adams looked at him like he was seeing him for the first time.
Is Winifred your daughter?
Chief Victor did not answer. The silence spread through the room like smoke. Adams asked again slowly. Daddy,
Your daughter?
is my wife your daughter? Chief Victor looked at me. For a moment, I saw something in his eyes. Not love, not regret, fear. The same fear Mama Rosaline had been carrying. He adjusted his sleeve. This is nonsense.
This is nonsense.
I laughed. It came out like this.
Nonsense!
He pointed at me.
You are entering matters you know nothing about. You know nothing.
I stepped forward. I know enough. You know nothing. I know my mother worked here. His face tightened. I know she was pregnant. He looked away.
I know your name was on her antenatal
Mama
card.
Rosaline gasped.
I know you denied her.
Chief Victor's eyes returned to me sharply. His nostrils flared.
And I know your wife and her sister forced herbs into my mother's mouth to remove me.
Auntie Anita hissed.
You should be grateful you survived.
Adams turned to her with rage.
Shut up!
The whole room froze. Adams had never shouted at his elders like that. Auntie Anita stepped back. Chief Victor raised his
Don't
hand.
you ever speak to your aunt like that.
Adams faced him.
And you? How should I speak to you? I am your father.
Chief Victor looked offended. Adams pointed at me.
And what is she?
Chief Victor said nothing. Adams moved closer to him.
What is Winifred to you?
Chief Victor's face hardened.
I will not stand here and be interrogated by my son.
He turned to leave, but Adams blocked him. No, you
No,
will not walk
you will
away.
not walk away.
Chief Victor's voice became low.
Move.
Adams did not move. Chief Victor lifted his hand as if to slap him, but Mama Rosaline shouted,
Enough! Tell the truth!
You want truth?
Yes.
So grace
Mama Rosaline looked down.
Now you want truth after helping to bury it?
was grace.
Chief Victor faced all of us.
Fine, Grace worked here, yes. She became pregnant, yes. But how was I sure the child was mine?
The words hit me, but I stood still. Adams whispered, Daddy. Chief Victor continued. She was a house girl. She was going in and out. Market men knew her. Drivers knew her. How was I supposed to accept a pregnancy just because she cried? Mama Rosaline looked at him with disgust. Victor, you knew. He turned on her. And you knew too, yet you stayed. She flinched. He looked at me. Your mother wanted to destroy my home. My mother wanted you to take responsibility. She wanted to use pregnancy to climb. Something in me went cold. I walked close to him until there was only a small space between us. My mother died poor. He looked at me but did not speak. My mother died without your name, without your money, without your protection, without even telling me who you were, because shame had swallowed her voice. My eyes burned. If she wanted to climb Chief Victor, where did she climb to? His face changed slightly, but pride covered it again. Adams picked up the antenatal card from my handbag where I had placed it earlier. He held it out. Your name is here. Chief Victor glanced at it. Victor is a common name. I smiled bitterly. Your family likes that lime. Adams looked at his father with tears in his eyes. Do you understand what this means? Chief Victor looked away. Adam's voice broke. If Winifred is your daughter, he could not finish. Neither could I. The truth was standing in the room, but none of us wanted to give it full language, because once spoken, it would destroy everything. Mama Rosaline whispered it. Then she and Adam share the same father. The words entered the air. Nobody moved.
Auntie Anita sat down slowly on the bed. Adam stared at his mother, then at me. His lips parted, but no words came out. I felt the room tilt. My husband, my Adams, the man who held me when I cried, the man who kissed my forehead after each miscarriage, the man who promised to build a home with me, the man whose child I had tried to carry 3 times. He was my brother, not by choice, not by sin we committed knowingly, but by blood, by the wickedness of elders, by silence, by shame, by a lie protected for years. I staggered back. Adams moved toward me instinctively, but then stopped himself. That stopping broke me more than anything. For the first time since we married, my husband was afraid to touch me. I held my stomach. The memories came like fire. The bleeding, the hospital beds, the doctor's quiet face, the women's prayers, the whispers, weak womb, bad luck, barren woman, strange bloodline.
My knees almost failed. Then the words came out of my mouth before I could stop them. No wonder my children never stayed. Everybody looked at me. My voice shook. Even my womb knew the truth before I did. Adams covered his mouth and turned away. Mama Rosaline began to wail. Chief Victor closed his eyes. Auntie Anita muttered, "God forbid." I faced her immediately. "No, don't call God now. Don't call God into a wickedness you people created with your own hands." Mama Rosaline came toward me. "Winifred, please forgive me." I stepped back. "Don't touch me." She froze. "You tried to remove me from my mother's womb, and when I survived, you allowed me to enter your son's house as his wife." Her face twisted in pain. "I was afraid." "You were afraid then, you are afraid now. Your fear has destroyed 2 innocent people." Adams turned back to me. "Winnie," I looked at him. His eyes were full of tears. For a second, the love between us tried to stand, but blood stood taller. He whispered,
Winnie, I didn't know.
I know.
I swear I didn't know.
I know, Adams.
I
I loved you.
That finished me. Because he said loved, like the past had already swallowed us. I whispered, I loved
you too.
Chief Victor snapped. "Stop this drama." Adams turned to him like fire. "Drama." Chief Victor pointed around the room.
All of you are behaving like villagers. We can handle this quietly. We are a respected family. This matter cannot leave this house.
I stared at him, quietly. Even now, he still wanted silence. The same silence that buried Grace.
The same silence that married me to my blood. The same silence that turned my miscarriages into gossip.
Chief Victor lowered his voice. "We are a respected family. This matter cannot leave this house." I laughed again. Sharp, painful, uncontrolled. He looked at me. "You think people will clap for you if this comes out? You think they will not laugh at you too? You think they will not say you married your brother?" Adams stepped toward him. "Don't." Chief Victor ignored him. "Sometimes truth is not wisdom." I looked at him with tears drying on my face. "No, Chief. Sometimes silence is not peace." His face hardened. "I can settle you." The room became silent. I blinked. "What?" He stepped closer. "I will give you money. Enough money to start your life again. You will leave this marriage quietly. Adams will also move on quietly. Nobody needs to know anything." For a few seconds, I could only stare. This man had not changed. Many years ago, he tried to deny my mother with shame. Now he wanted to bury me with money. I walked to the floor, picked up Mama Rosaline's diary, and held it against my chest. "You people called my mother a thief." Nobody spoke. "You forced herbs into her mouth." Mama Rosaline sobbed. "You framed her." Auntie Anita looked away. "You denied me." Chief Victor's jaw tightened. "You allowed me to suffer inside a forbidden marriage." Adams closed his eyes. "And now you want to pay me to disappear?" I shook my head slowly. "No." Chief Victor stepped forward.
Give me that diary. Daddy, don't touch her.
Chief Victor stared at his son.
You will choose this girl over your family? She is my family. She is my wife. Now she is my sister. And both are because of you.
Chief Victor raised his hand again, but this time Adams caught it. Not violently, firmly. Father and son stared at each other. Something old collapsed in that moment. The authority Chief Victor had carried for years began to fall. Then, Adams released his father's hand and said, "Pastor Matthew must hear this." Chief Victor shouted, "Are you mad?" Adams's voice was calm. Maybe all of us have been mad for years. Pastor Matthew arrived that evening with Mama Nkem. By then, the house had become a courtroom without chairs. Mama Rosaline sat on the edge of the bed, still crying. Auntie Anita stood by the window, arms folded, face hard. Chief Victor had gone silent, but his eyes were burning. Adams sat near me, but not too close. That small space between us felt like a grave. Pastor Matthew opened the diary. As he read, his face changed. The respected pastor who had prayed over my womb and told me to honor my elders now stood there speechless. When he finally lifted his head, he looked at Mama Rosaline. "Sister Rosaline, is this true?" She nodded, crying. "Yes." Then Mama Nkem spoke. Her old voice shook, but it carried power. Grace did not steal. Grace was not loose. Grace was betrayed by people she served. She turned to Chief Victor. She was poor, you are rich. She was under your roof, you were her master. Do not sit here and pretend you are equal. Chief Victor looked down. For the first time, I saw shame bend his neck. Pastor Matthew said, "Chief, this is the time to confess fully." Chief Victor rubbed his forehead. For a long time, he said nothing. Then he spoke. "Yes, Grace was pregnant for me." Mama Rosaline cried louder. Auntie Anita closed her eyes. Adams lowered his head. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to listen. Chief Victor's voice became rough. I denied it because I was afraid. I had a wife, I had children, I had a position in church. People respected me. I did not want one house girl to become the story people used to mock my name. Auntie Ngozi whispered, "Jesus." Chief Victor continued. When the herbs failed, I panicked. Auntie Anita suggested the stealing accusation. I agreed. Auntie Anita shouted, "Don't put everything on me." Chief Victor turned to her. "You hid the chain. You gave me permission." Their voices rose. For the first time, the people who joined hands to bury my mother began to tear one another apart. Pastor Matthew raised his voice. "Enough." The room became quiet. Then he turned to Auntie Anita. "Did you hide the chain?" She folded her arms. "I was protecting my sister." Pastor Matthew repeated, "Did you hide the chain?" Her lips tightened. "Yes." Auntie Ngozi burst into tears. "So my sister died with thief written on her name because of you?" Nobody answered. Pastor Matthew closed the diary slowly. "This marriage cannot continue." Even though I knew it, hearing it aloud shattered me again. Adams sat down heavily. I looked at my wedding ring. The same ring Adams had placed there with joy. The same ring I had carried through 3 pregnancies and 3 losses. The same ring that now felt like fire. Pastor Matthew continued. "They did not know, so they did not sin knowingly. But now that truth has come out, they must separate. Grace's name must be cleared. The stealing accusation must be withdrawn publicly. Chief Victor must go to Grace's people and confess. Restitution must be made." Chief Victor stood. "No." Pastor Matthew looked at him. "You have said no for many years, Chief. See where no has brought everyone." The room went quiet. That evening, I went into the kitchen alone. The same kitchen where Mama Rosaline had cried. The same kitchen where the mystery started. I brought out a pot. I washed meat. I washed dried fish. I tore oha leaves with my hands, the way my mother taught me. Auntie Ngozi entered quietly.
Winnie, you don't have to do this today. I know. Then why? Because they made this soup a ghost. I want to return it to my mother.
She touched my shoulder. I cooked slowly. For Grace. For the young girl who walked in that house. For the pregnant woman who begged. For the mother who raised me with shame in her eyes. For the children I lost before I knew why. For myself. When the soup was ready, I carried it to the dining table. Everybody was in the sitting room when the aroma entered the house. Mama Rosaline looked up, and her face collapsed. Auntie Anita shifted uncomfortably. Chief Victor closed his eyes. Adam stood by the window, his back to us. I placed the pot in the middle of the dining table, the same table where I had served them as a wife. The same table where Mama Rosaline always cried. Then I brought out my small bag I had already packed. Adam saw it, and his eyes filled with tears. Winnie. My chest tightened. I walked slowly to him. For a moment, the whole house disappeared. It was just us. The woman who had loved him, the man who had loved me. Two innocent people destroyed by a truth we did not create. He whispered,
Do you have to go
tonight? I wanted to say no. I wanted to say, let me stay one more day. I wanted to say, hold me, let us cry together. Let us pretend for one more night that the world had not changed. But pretending was how this whole tragedy was born. So I nodded.
Yes.
Where will you
His
go?
lips trembled.
To Auntie Ngozi first.
I can take you.
No.
That hurt him, but he understood. Some journeys must be taken alone. Mama Rosaline fell to her knees.
Winifred, forgive
I
me.
looked at her.
Mama, your apology cannot return my mother's years. It cannot return my children. It cannot return my marriage, but I will not carry your hatred out of this house. I leave it here with you. Carry it. Let it sit with you at breakfast. Let it follow you to church. Let it enter your kitchen whenever soup is boiling.
Then I faced Auntie Anita.
You used your hands to hide a chain in my mother's box. You used your voice to call her a thief. You held herbs to her mouth. I was protecting my sister. No, you were protecting pride.
The first time, she had no sharp reply. Then, I faced Chief Victor.
All my life, I wondered who my father was. I used to think maybe if I found him, something missing in me would
His eyes
rest.
became wet.
I'm so sorry.
But now I have found you, and I feel more orphaned than before.
I am sorry.
Do not say it because people are watching. Say it where my mother
Looked
can hear it.
confused. I pointed to the
To
dining
her
table.
soup.
To her soup. The whole room became still. Chief Victor looked at the pot of oha soup. For a long moment, he did not move. Then slowly, he walked to the dining table. His legs looked weak. He stood before the pot. The aroma rose between us. The same aroma that had exposed everything. He bowed his head. Grace, he said, his voice breaking, I am sorry. Mama Rosaline wept. Adams covered his face. Chief Victor continued, I lied against you. I denied you. I abandoned you. I allowed them to shame you. I allowed your child to suffer. I was a coward. The word hung in the air. Coward. That was the truest title he had ever given himself. I did not feel peace immediately. Real pain does not disappear because someone says sorry. But something shifted. A small knot inside me loosened. Not for him, for my mother. Her name had finally stood in the house that buried it. Then I did what I came to do. I removed my wedding ring. Adam saw it and made a sound like his heart had been touched with fire. My hand shook. The ring resisted slightly, as if it did not want to leave, but I pulled it off. I walked to the dining table. Beside the pot of soup, I placed the ring. Gold beside soup. Marriage beside truth. Love beside blood. I looked at Adams. His tears were falling freely now.
I am sorry.
No, don't apologize.
We did nothing wrong knowingly,
I know.
but we cannot continue.
My
I know.
voice broke.
You were a good husband, Adams.
You were a good wife.
For a moment, we just stood there crying. Then he said the most painful thing he had ever said to me. Be free.
Be free, Winifred.
I almost collapsed. Auntie Ngozi held me. Adam stepped forward like he wanted to help me, then stopped again. That stopping was our final goodbye. Not because we stopped caring, but because care now had boundaries. I picked up my bag. Mama Rosaline remained on the floor. Chief Victor stood by the table like a man whose throne had turned to ashes. Auntie Anita sat silently, looking older than her age. I walked out of the Okafo house. The gate opened. The evening air touched my face. For the first time, I did not leave as a poor wife rejected by a rich family. I did not leave as a barren woman. I did not leave as the woman whose soup made her mother-in-law cry. I left as Grace's daughter. The daughter who survived herbs. The daughter who survived shame. The daughter who survived a forbidden marriage created by other people's lies. Behind me, I heard Adams crying. I did not turn back. If I had turned, I might not have had the strength to continue. So I walked, one step, then another, until the Okafo house was behind me. The days that followed were not easy. People talked. Of course they talked. Some said I destroyed the Okafo family. Some said I was brave. Some said Grace had finally been vindicated. Some even asked why I did not stay since Adams and I did not know. But people can talk from outside pain. They can say manage it when they are not the ones waking up beside a truth that makes their own body tremble. Pastor Matthew kept his word. Chief Victor stepped down from his church position. Auntie Anita lost her women's fellowship office. Mama Rosaline stopped attending meetings and spent many days alone. Chief Victor went with the elders to my mother's village and confessed before Grace's people. Grace's name was cleared. They returned the shame to where it belonged. Not on the poor girl who was framed, but on the rich house that framed her. As for Adams, he moved out of his father's house. Sometimes he called me. At first, I did not pick. Then one evening, I answered. For a while, neither of us spoke. Then he said,
How are you?
I almost laughed. How does a person answer that after losing a marriage and finding a brother in the same man? I am breathing.
I am
said.
breathing.
He was quiet. Then he said, Me too.
Me too.
That became our truth. We were breathing. Not healed, not whole, just breathing. Months passed. I moved into a small apartment of my own in Suriluri. I started rebuilding my life slowly. At first, I could not cook oha soup. Anytime I saw the leaves in the market, my hands would shake. Then one Saturday morning, I bought them. I came home, I washed my pot. I prepared dried fish. I tore the leaves with my hands. And as the soup boiled, I cried. Not because of Mama Rosaline, not because of Chief Victor, not even because of Adams. I cried because I missed my mother. I missed the woman whose life had been reduced to a secret in another woman's diary. I whispered, "Mommy."
Mommy, I left.
That day, I ate the soup alone, but I did not feel lonely. For the first time, the soup did not taste like mystery. It tasted like memory. It tasted like survival. It tasted like grace. Years may pass before I fully heal. Maybe I will marry again. Maybe I will not. Maybe one day, Adams and I will sit in the same room without crying. Maybe one day, Mama Rosaline will find the courage to forgive herself, though forgiveness from herself is not my burden to give. But one thing I know is this: the truth came late, but it came. And when it came, it did what truth always does. It separated the innocent from the guilty. It removed the mask from the respected. It gave the dead a voice. It turned soup into evidence. It turned a diary into judgment. It turned a rejected daughter into a witness. People ask me sometimes, "Winifred, do you regret finding the diary?" I always answer the same way: no. Because before I found it, I was living inside a lie and calling it marriage. Before I found it, I thought my miscarriages were my failure. Before I found it, I thought my mother's silence was weakness. Before I found it, I thought Mama Rosaline's tears were pain. Now I know better. Some tears are not repentance, some tears are fear. Some people cry not because they are sorry, but because the past they buried has found the road back home. My mother-in-law cried whenever I cooked soup because my soup carried the smell of the woman she helped destroy. She cried because every dried fish, every oziza leaf, every oha leaf reminded her of grace. She cried because she knew the child she tried to remove from my mother's womb had survived. She cried because I came back, not with revenge in my hands, but with my mother's face, my mother's food, and my mother's unanswered question. And the most painful part is that her silence did not only punish her, it punished me. It punished Adams. It punished the children my womb refused to carry. No wonder my children never stayed. Even my womb knew the truth before I did. So if there's anything my story taught me, it is this: a family name protected by lies will one day become a curse to the children. When elders bury truth to avoid shame, the innocent children inherit the punishment. And no matter how deep a secret is buried, one day something ordinary will dig it up. A smell, a song, a name, a pot of soup, or an old diary waiting in a locked room.
But tell me, if you were in my place, after discovering that the man you loved and married was actually your own blood, because of the sins of your elders, would you ever forgive the family that destroyed your mother, your marriage, and your unborn children?
I left the house without looking back. My heart was heavy, my world was cracked. The love I carried became my pain. The truth fell down like midnight rain. They buried my mother's name in shame, covered their sins and changed the blame. I cooked her soup with trembling hands, not knowing I stood on broken land. Tell me, would you forgive that if you love